Trăm hai. Em ghi hộ chị gì nhỉ? Chị Hoa 200 cả một lọ uống C. Hoa uống sáng 1 viên, chiều 1 viên nhé Hoa nhé. 3 tháng nhá. Lấy thêm cái lọ Logistin cái đi, uống tốt mà. Mà thôi để lần sau lấy được. Chị đang mở chị với. Alo chị ạ. Ơi
chị ơi, em vừa quay quán này chị thấy nhỉ, không biết là vẫn van gì. Em ở dưới Yên Thọ lên.
Yên Thọ á? À 2 thằng ấy hả?
2 thằng ấy à?
Chào tí. Tại vì là có có người ra giờ mà.
Vâng, không được.
Nhá.
Vâng vâng.
Có 2 cái mà đúng một cái. Chị có đi lại không chị?
Không.
Đắt gì?
Chị đang không muốn đắt, chị muốn bill luôn cho cô. Bill nhẹ này. Bằng cái lọ retinol ấy. 200. Đúng rồi. Thoa tròn cho chị vào những chỗ lớn.
Nhìn ra bạn nào cũng cao, mỗi con mình nó cứ ghét người thôi cô ạ. Cái cùng lên được 1m20 rồi đấy. Buồn cổ luôn ý.
Thế giống con này 6 rồi.
Cô dạy như thế đấy.
Cháu cũng bảo múc luôn. Mày không phải chờ.
Đợi lúc chơi báo cô đang buôn điện xong mình đánh lại.
Con nhà cháu mới đầu á, nó không thèm đánh lại. Con cứ đánh lại, con cứ phải, nếu mà bạn không ngoan ấy thì
đâu được thưa cái gì.
đến khi nó đánh nhá rồi ôi.
Đánh được lần này lần sau nó còn đánh được ấy.
Đúng rồi. Đến khi quan trọng.
Thằng nhà cô đi học không sợ bị bắt nạt. Xong con ấy gầy như thế nhưng con khỏe lắm. Cô giáo bảo làm chú bộ đội đấy. Cô giáo ui rồi, tưởng anh ấy ẻo là anh ấy thư sinh, ui sao hình xong nó khỏe thế hả cô. Đậu nhiều lúc bé nó ấy mấy cả sữa bột pha đấy, mỗi ngày ít nhất là 1 cốc.
Con cháu nó có
nếu mà dặn rồi, nếu mà 2 bạn đùa nhau mà không 2 bạn
đánh nhau, chuyện đánh nhau trên lớp không thể không có được.
không đánh nhau, mình cũng dặn rồi để cho con nó vay chậm. Cái gì là đổ. Này là cô nó khéo mà cảm giác là nó cua chân cua tay, mình cảm giác như là nó cũng lấy võ được ấy. Nó dậy còm luôn.
Thì bảo phát triển chiều cao cái đấy khác thì không dám hấp thụ được.
Từ hôm dàn gói không ăn rau, không ăn.
Thích ăn đồ lết.
Sáng đi học phải 1 hộp xôi, xong là lại phải mua kèm thêm 1 hộp để tối nó đi học về mà tối ăn cơm tờ ấy, con đói con lại hấp lại 1 hộp xôi à.
Chưa thấy là ấy gì.
Kia là ăn được.
Không bao giờ ăn rau.
Chưa các bạn ăn cơm có rau, mình không ăn rau thì ăn cơm xong thì làm hộp sữa đi ngủ.
Nó chỉ thích ăn tôm thôi, chứ nó không thích ăn cá. Cá nấu thì có thể sốt lên hoặc là
thằng này chỉ thịt thôi.
ăn ngày đá hay ăn tôm là dễ nhất ấy. Mà ăn cái tôm rang thôi. Cứ tôm rang ăn với cơm đã 2 bát. Phải ăn. Lớn rồi biết rồi là con phải ăn vào không tốt. Hôm nào nhiều hôm nay ăn cháo nhớ nhớ. Con dâu con ăn cháo rồi lớn. Gì màu hồng ấy cô ạ.
Của Gen thì nó chả thích ăn cái gì nhỉ. Mẹ đã không thích uống sữa rồi.
Bên ạ, con nhìn nó 12 nó bảo là con đi học qua hư đạo mà con nghĩ con đã sợ.
Lại ghét đến nỗi thế.
Thật ra trời sinh ra nguyên lại còn sinh ra hành.
Ai biết đường. Hồi nãy giao là không
Ấy nghiến hao hao nghiến.
Nhìn ngoài tắm mát à? Cô nén quéo rồi, chịu hết nổi rồi.
Cưng hay nhà gần đây sao?
Tao rồi.
Cách đây cỡ 2 km thôi chị.
Cũng là xa.
Dạ.
Ở số mấy Hoàng Diệu em? Đây cũng gần chỗ nhà chị á, cũng ở dưới nước nhưng mà bay pha vô Trinh. Chị ở...
Muộn hả chị?
Ok em qua Tân An nha.
Dạ cho chị mở chỗ mới rồi đó không? Tân An rồi không gọi.
Ok.
Dạ.
Chán đau hơn, chán nhiều. Cục nến đã. Không có thấy hiệu quả.
Cửa trong vai nhiều của ăn đây này.
Gục ra. Một em rất đẹp. Ngài có hồng mặt như câu này. Sophie sợ. Lại thích xem mụn này cả lên. Bạn như con mắm mòi.
1,6.
Cô nên nhiều. Em nặng đây chắc khoảng 10.000 em nặng.
Xong rồi quay nào đỏ chính này.
Hay răng đó.
Cái lâu con mà mới đến đó.
Đây là bác sĩ mổ cho mình luôn. Bác sĩ làm cũng xong rồi đó. Năng.
Dạ.
including the V-Strom 650, is one of the most successful and long-lived of modern middleweights. dating way back to 1999, but these spy shots reveal an all-new successor is coming. Spotted undergoing testing in mainland Europe, the shots reveal two models, a naked, SV-type roadster and V-Strom adventure bike, both using the same all-new engine platform. The much-loved old 645 cubic centimeters V-twin of the current SV and V-Strom has finally bitten the dust and has been replaced by an all-new twin, but now not in a V configuration but in the parallel twin layout, which now dominates the category with the Yamaha MT-07 family, KTM 790 and 890 Dukes and Adventures, the Aprilia RS 660 and Tuono 660, and even Honda's expected new 750 Transalp. Exact capacity of the new engine is not yet known, although 800 cubic centimeters seems most likely. It'll also be fuel-injected and ECU controlled and is expected to offer riding modes plus other electronic aids. The new engine also means an all-new chassis. Although the exact frame type can't be discerned from these pictures, it is likely to be a tubular steel trellis, mostly for cost reasons. A matching tubular steel rear subframe can be seen. The monoshock-operated swing arm is in cast aluminium while both models have beefy inverted forks and multifunction LCD, not TFT, digital displays. But that is where the similarities between the two end. The SV replacement has 17 inches cast alloy wheels, twin Nissan radial brakes, a stubby, underslung exhaust and all-new bodywork with styling, particularly at the front with a new headlamp cowling housing two stacked LEDs, clearly inspired by Suzuki's recent GSX-S 1000. The Adventure V-Strom version has 19/17-inch off-road style wire wheels, more basic brakes, a higher exhaust, for off-road clearance, bashplate and bodywork and styling influenced by the current model, albeit also with the new stacked headlights. Although disguised, the two bikes look largely finished, suggesting they will be unveiled at the EICMA show in November as 2023 models. Suzuki's new parallel twin models in detail. Parallel lives, outgoes the old, much-loved, 645 cubic centimeters V-twin, and comes an all-new, more conventional parallel twin, similar to that of the MT-07 and other rivals. Sassy chassis, the new frame is likely to be tubular steel trellis, while suspension and brakes comprise beefy USDs and a mix of radial and conventional Nissans. GSX-S styling, SV Roadster replacement may get the GSX-S name, it's no longer a V-twin and has styling clearly derived from the GSX-S 1000. It's stacked. Both models have twin, stacked LED headlights which also debuted on the GSX-S 1000 and are a Suzuki signature. Phil West. By Phil West. You may also like Moto Guzzi V100 Mandello, 2023 on Review. Author Michael Neves. Published October 24, 2022. Updated November 3, 2022. Moto Guzzi's new V100 is no thrown-together parts-bin special. New from the ground up, it's beautifully crafted with design cues from Guzzi's glittering history. Slits in its side panels mimic their 1976 Sierra Leonean Leon's Mans 850 and the top fairing tips a hat to the 81 Le Mans 853. It's evocative stuff, right down to the V100 Mandello's name that pays tribute to at home and a celebration of Guzzi's 100th birthday in 2021. But it's anything but a misty-eyed, two-wheeled reminisce. It's thoroughly modern with a tasteful color dash and lean-sensitive rider aids. Go for the 15,750 pound S model and you get extra goodies like semi-active Olean's Smart EC 2.0 semi-active suspension and an up/down quickshifter, too. In terms of elegance and detailing, the Guzzi puts its sports touring rivals in the shade, but what is the competition? The Kawasaki Ninja 1000 SX, Suzuki GSX-S 1000 GT, and BMW R1250 RS are obvious rivals, but in the flesh, it looks like a lowrider Yamaha Tracer 9, or Honda Northern Territory 1100. The Moto Guzzi's upright riding position even has shades of Aprilia Tuono V4 about it, which is no surprise as they're both developed by Piaggio at their Noali factory near Venice. Technically the Mandello is a different beast to any previous Guzzi. Not only is it fitted with electronics that wouldn't look out of place on a superbike and a new engine, it's also the first production bike to have adaptive aerodynamics, although their effect is minimal. Flappy wings aside, Moto Guzzi has created a tasteful sports tourer that's neither bland nor shouty and offers the perfect mix of comfort, sportiness, tech and character. It's pricey, but the V100 Mandello is well made with great attention to detail and feels like a machine that's come from the heart rather than just a model produced to fill a gap in a model range. It's like nothing else around, which is all part of its appeal, and you never get the sense, either by riding or looking at it, that any corners were cut during its journey from design sketch to showroom floor. Ride quality and brakes. Next up, engine. 4 out of 5. April 5th. Although the Mandello might look chunky in pictures with its bold styling, larger-than-life powertrain and chunky exhausts, it sits surprising low. Shorter riders will feel immediately confident being able to get feet flat on the floor, and if the standard 815mm seat height is still too lofty, there's a low accessory seat available. The riding position itself is nigh on perfect. Pegs are sporty without cramping knees. Even for 6-footers like me, a higher accessory seat is available for even more legroom, and its tall bars are placed naturally towards the rider so there's no awkward stretch or excess pressure on your wrists. The seat is comfy and scalloped at the rear to hold you in under acceleration. The screen offers decent wind protection, and with its injection system inside the V of the engine, now that the cylinder heads have been turned round 90 degrees, there's lots more knee room. Ride quality on this semi-active Olanes-clad S model is as plush or sporty as you want it to be, depending on the riding mode you choose, and there's a handy remote rear preload adjuster to twiddle for carrying heavy loads. With its shorter engine, the Mandello is sportier and more agile than previous Guzzis, and thanks to its long swing arm and low pivot point there's little up/down shaft drive pitching on and off the throttle. Yes, you can feel the back end rise and fall when you ride aggressively, but like the engine's rocking, it's a slight movement and a sensation that quickly melts into the background. But what feeling you lose with a chain you gain with the clean, maintenance-free convenience of that shaft, which is especially useful on a big tour. Tipping the scales at just 136 kilograms, CCM's new Heritage 71T is incredibly light. Pull it off its suicide side stand and it feels more like one of those fat-tired electric bikes between your legs than a motorcycle. That's until you thumb the starter and its snarling 600 cubic centimeters motor barks into life. It's a two-wheel riot of carbon fiber and billet aluminium, but the Heritage 71T is also the first production bike to be built using a titanium frame and swing arm. It's why it's so light, and costs a whopping £29,995. CCM have been innovating with chassis tech since they were formed in 1971, by the man who was the C in CCM, Clues Competition Motorcycles off-road aficionado, Alan Clues. The Bolton factory produced the world's first aluminium trials bike, first aluminium bonded chassis, and former 500 cubic centimeters GP star, Neil Mackenzie, won British championships on their Armstrong Badge 350. Based on their popular handmade Spitfire and built to celebrate the firm's 50th anniversary, but delayed by COVID for a year, only 71 Heritage 71T models will be produced. Its minimalist design might look sparse, but the detailing, fit and finish are MotoGP levels of special. A sub-10 Grand Cafe racer from any of the mainstream manufacturers would be just as enjoyable to ride, so if you haven't got a spare 30 grand knocking around, don't worry, you're not missing out. But the CCM will be worth it to the person with deep pockets and an appreciation of the engineering poured into it. It's a work of art you could stare at all day and never get bored, but it also works beautifully as a motorcycle with a lightness and purity to it that's a world away from anything mass-produced. It takes a CCM engineer a week to handcraft the Heritage's aerospace grade 3L/2.5 VCW5R titanium chassis and apply its brushed satin finish. It's 6 kilograms lighter than the Spitfire's 4139 chromoly steel chassis. Not only is the 71T a featherweight piece of art that draws a crowd every time we stop during our test, it changes the handling dynamics. The chassis isn't as stiff as a steel-framed Spitfire's, thanks to the exotic material's more spring-like properties. But the CCM is still pure, direct, and there's none of the mush you feel riding a built-down-to-a-production bike with heavy components, sound deadening and vibe protection.